guys, Ron here, and now that Generation 9 has been announced, it's time to make some Fakemon for this new region, seemingly based on the Iberian Peninsula. Make sure to check out all the other Pokemon art videos where I make tons of Fakemon like the ones you'll see in this video. Let's begin! So I figured that since Generation 9 has some pretty good water effects, I'd make a bunch of water types. So let's design the ultimate water type, a combination of a bunch of aquatic animals, and since Bidoof was kind of the most popular Pokemon over the last year or so, how about I make a beaver? But we already have like a beaver Pokemon, so let's combine it with a duck, maybe add some otter attributes, since Samurott is like my favorite water type. Since people are getting tired of bipedal Pokemon, I'll keep this Pokemon on all fours, giving it a chunky back and a beaver tail, then I'll give it the bill of a duck. Pretty unusual looking Pokemon, but it's a poison type. They all look weird. Then I'm giving it webbed feet with claws. It uses one of the claws on its legs to inject venom. An unassuming cute Pokemon is always interesting. Just changing the proportions a bit so that it looks cuter, more adorable eyes, and then some patterns to give it variation in color. You can't just have a Pokemon with one color, you know? I was gonna make it purple to indicate its typing, but I want this Pokemon's poison typing to be a surprise to its opponents, so brown to camouflage into its environment is fine. Other earthy tones, nothing too crazy. I'm keeping it low-key as an homage to the muted colors of Gens 1 and 2. Here is Platypus, the monotreme Pokemon from Platus and Pus, Greek for flat foot, a water poison type. It lays eggs instead of giving birth to live young, just like every Pokemon. It senses prey through echolocation. It's one of the few species of venomous mammalian Pokemon, as the male platypus has a spur on the hind foot that delivers a venom capable of causing severe pain to humans. The unusual appearance of this egg-laying, Psyduck-billed, bibarrel-tailed, ocelot-footed mammal baffled Galarian naturalists when they were first encountered, and the first scientists to examine a preserved platypus body judged it as a fake, made of several Pokemon sewn together. Platypus milk is released through the pores all over its body. It has the abilities Poison Point, Swift Swim, and Lightning Rod. I hope you like this one. I find it both cute and formidable. I like hidden poison types. After all, not every poison type should announce how lethal it is. I'm sure this would be a fan favorite. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet will probably have the highest quality graphics of any Pokemon game, with more realistic textures and proportions, so I made sure to render this Pokemon a bit more realistically than the average Pokemon. Now I want to make a water type that lives in colder environments. Something big like a whale, so it'll be covered in blubber, but to balance it out, let's make it somewhat beautiful. How about we give it a unicorn horn? It could use that to break ice and attack. A majestic but fierce sea unicorn. I'm giving it the body of a toothed whale, a bit more slender than a whalelord, but way smaller, just finalizing the body. I want to give it a tiny, cute face to contrast with the dangerous tusks that it has. I thought it was a bit plain, so I gave its horns some grooves and added these patterns to help it camouflage in the water. It won't be straight up blue, since underwater it's way darker. Check out Narwhal, the cetacean Pokemon, from Nar meaning corpse in Old Norse and whale, a water ice type. Narwhal possesses a large tusk from a protruding canine tooth. In winter, it feeds on prey on the sea floor, mostly stunfisk, under dense packed ice. Each year, they migrate from the bays into the ocean as summer comes. In the winter, the male narwhals occasionally dive up to 5,000 feet in depth, with dives lasting up to 25 minutes. Narwhals communicate with clicks, whistles, and knocks. Narwhals are one of the many Pokemon that are being threatened by human actions. Estimates of the world population of Narwhal range from around 50,000 to around 170,000. They're considered to be near threatened, and several subpopulations have evidence of decline. In ancient times, before Galarian Rapidash were discovered, Narwhal tusks were thought to be the horn of Rapidash. They have the abilities Water Veil and Thick Fat, with the hidden ability Lightning Rod. I'm sure this Pokemon will be a competitive beast. Every generation needs one Pokemon that is almost as strong as a pseudo-legendary, like Arcanine and Togekiss, so Narwhal should be that. Now, every game has some kind of water bird Pokemon, a vacant-faced flying type like Cramorant, but since Gen 9 is based on Spain, let's make a flamenco Pokemon. I'll base it on cranes, something graceful with long legs, and I'll make it pretty and pink too. First, I'm making the lanky body of a wading bird. I want to be original and make a beak that is kind of inverted. The bottom beak is longer than the top one. Pretty wacky, I know. A long neck that sways as it dances, big dress-like feathers and long legs that it uses to dance with, making them webbed because it lives in the water, some lipstick patterns to make it a bit more feminine, and all pink so it looks flamboyant. A little variation in the shade of pink so it's not boring. I gave it black lipstick so it looks intense to contrast with the delicate color of its body. Pokemon designs are all about contrasts, as you can tell. Take a look at Flamingo, the wading Pokemon. Its name means flame-covered in Spanish and Portuguese, a flying water type. Flamingo usually stands on one leg with the other tucked beneath the body. The reason for this behavior is not fully understood. One theory is that standing on one leg allows Flamingo to conserve more body heat, given that they spend a significant amount of time wading in cold water. However, the behavior also takes place in warm water. An alternative theory is that standing on one leg reduces the energy expenditure for producing muscular effort to stand and balance on one leg. As well as standing in the water, flamingos may stamp their webbed feet into the mud to stir up food from the bottom. Young flamingo hatch with grayish-red plumage, but adults range from light pink to bright red due to aqueous bacteria and beta-carotene obtained from their food supply. A well-fed, healthy flamingo is more vibrantly colored. Flamingos are very social Pokemon. They live in colonies whose population can number in the thousands. These large colonies are believed to serve three purposes for the flamingo: avoiding predators, maximizing food intake, and using scarce suitable nesting sites more efficiently. They have the abilities Early Bird, Hydration, and Tangled Feet. I originally wanted this Pokemon to be Fairy type, but it can fly and lives its entire life in water, so I just decided to keep the pink coloring to confuse trainers into thinking that it's a Fairy type, so they use Steel type moves or Fire type Pokemon. Flamingo is very huggable. I can imagine its neck just wrapping around mine. Pretty, but intimidating. Now I want to make a hard-working ant Pokemon. Maybe a steel type like Durant, but with a construction worker hat, and inside its metal exterior it'll hold water, and it lets out the water through a nozzle like Mandible on its face. But usually ants are depicted as construction workers, but this Hydro Ant will also be a plumber. Plumbers aren't the fastest, so I'll make it stationary. Very low speed stat, but high defense. I'm giving it a thick metal-coated body with a construction helmet, a huge mandible in the middle that will act like a hose, and then two antennae on the side, some more metal padding and collars. It pops its head out of the ground like a Diglett. Ants are master diggers after all, just refining the design a bit, making sure everything is uniform. I made it red like a fire ant, but also because it puts out fires. I think a fire ant that extinguishes flames is a cool take on the whole concept. It's more like a firefighter ant, a fire hydro ant, if you will. Here is Hydrant, the pipe Pokemon from Hydro and Ant. Hydrant is a connection point by which firefighters can tap into a water supply. It is a component of active fire protection. Underground hydrants have been used in Galar and Johto for at least 300 years. Above ground hydrants have been used for 200 years. Before piped main supplies, water for firefighting had to be kept in buckets and cauldrons, ready for use by bucket brigades, or brought with a Mudsdale-drawn fire pump. From 400 years ago, as wooden main hydrants were discovered, firefighters would dig down the pipes and drill a hole for water to fill a wet well for the buckets or pumps. But when cast iron hydrants were bred to replace the wood, permanent underground access points were included for the firefighters. The first cast iron ones were bred 200 years ago by Frederick Graff, then chief engineer of the Univa Waterworks Company. In most areas, hydrants require annual inspection and maintenance. These inspections are generally performed by the local municipalities or fire departments, but they often do not inspect hydrants that are identified as private. Private hydrants are usually located on larger properties to adequately protect large buildings in case of a fire. Some companies are contracted out to inspect private hydrants unless the municipality has undertaken the task. Hydrant has the abilities Sturdy, Hydration, and Mega Launcher. Honestly, I rarely tackle Objectmon, but I think I nailed it, because taking inspiration from a real animal definitely helps. I love it when Pokemon are useful outside of battle as well and have a function in society. Unlike this video, which is clearly an April Fool's joke. These are all real animals and objects. I'm sure you understood that by now. I'm releasing an actual video tomorrow, a nice challenge collab with Patters and Numnexus, so make sure to watch that and check out my art playlist where I create actual Fakemon. If you enjoyed, leave a like and subscribe if you haven't. Consider becoming a patron or clicking the join button to get cool rewards like seeing my videos days early and a huge discount on the t-shirts I made for you guys. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram where I will post the full art of these Pokemon, and bye!